Testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3, testing PA system. Ladies and gentlemen, happy graduation day and welcome to the X50 Center at the University of Maryland. It's great to be with you today. There is a little bit of rain outside, but there's so much sunshine in here, especially on our graduates. So on behalf of the Smith community, our faculty, our staff, Smith School, our alumni, from all of us to all of you, thank you for being with us. We are delighted to be with you. We will be getting underway very shortly, but first, this safety announcement. Exits are located throughout the Xfinity Center. For your safety, look for the nearest exit. In case of emergency, please walk, do not run to that exit. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the May 2015 commencement exercise of the Robert H. Smith School of Business, University of Maryland. To follow today's proceedings, please turn to page 24 in your commencement program, where you'll find a ceremony guide, followed by a list of graduates receiving their Bachelor of Science degrees, as well as additional information about the Robert H. Smith School of Business. Leading the academic procession will be over 700 graduates of the graduating class of 2015. They, in turn, will be led by 2 column marshals. Following these graduates will be representatives of the Smith School's illustrious faculty and staff, led by Dean Alexander J. Triantis and Vice Dean Joyce E. A. Russell. Note that the leaders of each group will be carrying maces. Since the Middle Ages, university processions have been preceded by the carrying of the mace, a symbol of the university's authority to govern itself and grant degrees. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome the graduating class of 2015. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the faculty, staff, and alumni of the Robert H. Smith School of Business, led by Dean Alexander Triantis and Vice Dean Joyce E.A. Russell. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of our national anthem, performed by our own Smith School graduating senior, Connie Cho.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. Presiding over these exercises is Dr. Alexander Triantis, Dean of the Robert H. Smith School of Business.
Good afternoon, graduates of the class of 2015. Good afternoon, family and friends of the class of 2015. Good afternoon to our distinguished guests and to members of the Smith School faculty and administration. I welcome you to the commencement of the Robert H. Smith School of Business so that together we may honor our graduates, women and men who have completed the requirements for the Bachelor of Science degrees. From each of us sitting on stage, from every teacher who taught you, and every staff person who made your Smith experience possible, we offer a well-deserved congratulations. Give yourselves a round of applause. You'll see some of our graduates wearing cords and multiple stoles today in recognition of their activities and academic honors. One such cord I'd like to point you to is rose gold in color and designates students who contributed to the senior class gift campaign. It is a special person who will give back to their school prior to graduation, and I would like to thank these students for their generosity and their leadership. If you are wearing a Smith Philanthropy cord, would you please stand so that we can recognize you? You should be proud. You've graduated from one of the preeminent business schools in the world. At the Smith School, the best students, the best faculty, and the most challenging problems of our global interconnected society come together in ways that are transformative and far-reaching. We are a center of collaboration, innovation, and fearless ideas. Every day, Smith ideas and Smith people are moving beyond labs and lecture halls to make a genuine and positive impact on our economy, our society, and our world. Today, you become one of those people. You will go out into the world armed and ready to live lives of meaning and purpose, create value for your organizations, and impress the heck out of everyone who meets you. Commencement celebrates a journey with beginnings and endings and all the amazing things that happened in between. Today, we look back on your journey and we look forward to your future. Some members of the platform party will be introduced as the program proceeds, but at this time I would like to introduce other platform participants. Please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. Patty Carochi, Assistant Dean for Development and Alumni Relations. Professor Rebecca Ratner, Assistant Dean of Academic Affairs for Undergraduate Programs. Brian Minahan, Chair of the Robert H. Smith School of Business, Alumni Chapter. Chris Riggs, President of the Smith Undergraduate Student Association. Professor Kay Bartol, representing Gilad Chen, Chairperson of Management and Organization. Professor Ritu Agarwal, Chairperson of Decision Operations and Information Technologies. Professor Martin Dresner, Chairperson of Logistics, Business, and Public Policy. Professor Hank Boyd, representing PK Kanan, Chairperson of Marketing. Professor Martin Loeb, Chairperson of Accounting and Information Assurance. Professor Vojislav Maximovich, Chairperson of Finance. And Dale Vanderwall, Assistant Dean of Strategic Operations. Now you may clap. This platform is not large enough to contain all who have played an important role in making this day possible. In this regard, a special debt of gratitude is owed to the outstanding faculty at College Park and the Robert H. Smith School of Business, and to the dedicated staff who have given so much of themselves to the graduates. Let's please acknowledge them. Also at this time, we respectfully request that all attendees remain seated throughout the entire ceremony in order to provide full recognition to all of our graduates. So let's begin by hearing from members of the class of 2015. Dr. Joyce Russell, Vice Dean of the Smith School, will now introduce our student speaker.
I'm now pleased to introduce our undergraduate student speaker, Victoria, or Vicky Shi. We knew she had quite a fan club when she walked by us earlier. She's graduating from the Smith School of Business today with a dual bachelor's degree in marketing and international business. Vicki distinguished herself as a scholar during her time at Smith. She participated in 2 honors programs, the Design and Innovation Fellows and Social Innovation Fellows. Recently, she was recognized as the top graduating senior in the international business major. She has also had some interesting work experiences, including an internship with legendary ad agency Ogilvy and Mather. Despite a challenging academic schedule, Victoria found time to serve in numerous leadership roles. She has been the Vice President of Marketing for the Smith School's chapter of Net Impact, which achieved gold status and was named Chapter of the Year during her tenure, which we were all really proud of. And she was the Director of Social Activities for the Alpha Kappa Psi Business Fraternity. After graduating from Smith, I guess that's today, Victoria will join Lippincott, a global brand strategy and design consulting firm, as a brand strategy analyst. So please join me in welcoming Victoria Shi.
I'm going to copy Connie here, so everybody smile. Good afternoon, class of 2015, and happy graduation day. At this point in our lives, we know that there is no little golden book with all of life's answers. We come into college expecting all of these answers, but it seems like we come out with more questions. And as it turns out, we discover more when we ask the right questions. For my birthday, my best friend gave me a fancy-looking book with the title 5-Year Journal. Once a day, you answer a prompt. What is your secret passion? What is the color of today? And why was today so tough? In 5 years, you will have 1,825 answers, or snapshots of your life. Right now is a snapshot that we'll remember for the rest of our lives. We should capture this in our caps and gowns, excited, triumphant, and maybe even a little bit confused or terrified. We should capture this moment before we burst out these doors and enter the real world. We should capture this moment so we can pin it up and remember it 5 years from today. Today, in my little golden book, May 21st, 2015 asks, what is your mission? And if you asked me this 5 years ago, at the end of my junior year of high school, I would have answered, to be perfect. Perfect grades, perfect extracurriculars, perfect application to get into the perfect college, and then do perfect college things. And here's what I found. After one too many late nights spent working and stressing, no one can be perfect, especially not me, sleep-deprived and racing to finish 3 papers in the dead of night, with panic attacks and a dim desk lamp as my only companions. We've all been there. We have all felt that pressure to obtain the perfect college experience, perfect job, perfect partner, and perfect life. But we have a choice here. We can choose ambition over obsession, so that perfection doesn't hinder progression. But it's not easy to make that choice. When I become lost in the gray area, I fall back on these words from John Steinbeck. And now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good. But goodness isn't settling. Goodness is accepting your whole flawed self and then believing in it and giving and spreading kindness. So how then do we achieve goodness? We all have achieved a part of it by graduating as Smith School Terps. We have thrived at a diverse and challenging institution that has pushed us to be more. And over the past years, we have become more amazing, more capable, more intelligent, and more ambitious. We have dreamed more dreams, but we have made more of those dreams into realities. But we can't stop here. We have to go out into this big, beautiful world and spread the good that our university has instilled in us. Tomorrow is our first big day in the adult world, and in my little golden book, May 22nd, 2015 asks, when was the last time you had an inspiring conversation? Think about how many inspiring conversations we have had with our peers, mentors, and professors. Not just in classrooms, but in places like the North Campus Diner, at 4 a.m. in McKeldin, on walks back from Van Munching. Inspiration is imperfect, and so are we. Our experiences at this university have polished us into the successful people we are about to accept our degrees. And now it is our time to spread the good and be the ones to start those inspiring conversations. Right now, here we are in our caps and gowns at our very own graduation ceremony. We must capture this moment so we can look back on it in 5 years and ask ourselves, what good have I achieved? Who have I inspired, and who has inspired me? How can I further give good? And with our answers, we will know that we are still and will forever be Smith Terps, hungry and ambitious, and ready to inspire others so they can achieve their dreams too. Let's remember that in this final moment. The final photograph in an album that has captured snapshots from our first football game, our piles of food and notes from our first all-nighter in Van Munching, our first snow day snowball fights. Class of 2015, this is our moment captured. This is the moment we will look back on, but first and foremost, this is the moment we deserve to celebrate all of the good we have achieved during our incredible time here at the University of Maryland. This is our beautiful and bittersweet moment captured. A quick photograph before we hurry off to explore this big world before us. There is barely time to scribble out a caption to our photograph, but 3 words will suffice. We made it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shi, for that wonderful, wonderful speech. It is now my great pleasure to welcome today's commencement speaker, Mark Manoff, who is America's Vice Chair for EY. Mark is what many of you hope to become, tremendously successful. Mark has been with EY for over 35 years. He has seen many changes in the industry, with the Big 8 accounting firms becoming the Big 4, through the transformative effects of technology to the recent developments with the passage of Sarbanes-Oxley. That started on his very first day at his very first job. Mark was hired by a firm that was in the midst of being acquired by Ernst & Whinney, which later became Ernst & Young, and is now EY. Through the years, he has risen to a position of great authority and responsibility in EY. He has been the New York office managing partner, the Northeast region managing partner, and today he leads the EY Center for Board Matters, which focuses on relationships and governance with audit committees and other board members. And he is the executive sponsor for the Leadership Agenda, which is EY's program for up-and-coming senior leaders. He's also the most senior Smith alum ever at EY, which has had a very strong Smith presence over the years. He's also been an influential figure in New York City through his civic involvement with organizations such as the Roundabout Theater and the board of directors of the First Tee Metropolitan New York. He is also one of the organizers of the university's annual Maryland in Manhattan event and hosted the launch party for the Smith New York Alumni chapter. For those of you heading up to New York, you can't miss that. He received a 2012 Maryland in Manhattan Alumni Award for being so supportive of Terps in the Big Apple. Mark has also been tremendously supportive of the Smith School. He is a member of our advisory board and will next year serve as the next chair. Mark understands what it takes to succeed not just in business, but also in life. I can think of no finer role model for you as you enter the working world. Please join me now in welcoming Mark Manoff.
Good afternoon, fellow Terps. Good afternoon, proud families, faculty, administrators, and guests. What a great, great day to be in Maryland. Thank you, Dean, for that warm introduction. It really has been my pleasure to get to know you since you become Dean, and it's going to be my privilege to work even more closely with you in the coming years. It's always great to come back to this campus, to come home, and not even on a special day like graduation, even more so. It's one of the first things you'll learn as an alum, the warmth, the gratitude anytime you come back to good old College Park. Now, it's not every day that I get to come back, but not a day goes by that I don't reflect on my time here, talk to the people I first met here, or use the lessons I learned at Smith. Graduates, it's been a few years since I've been back here and sitting where you are, but I know the feelings that you're feeling right now. In fact, I remember them pretty well. Fatigue, a little dehydration, maybe a little headache, a little bit of nausea, but I promise you, this hangover too shall pass. Now, I know the character of my fellow Terps, and I know how hard you've worked to get here today. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and assume that all of your partying last night was to celebrate all of your accomplishments and not as preparation to hear a speech from an accountant. The reality is we all do celebrate in different ways. I remember finishing my last class of college. It was cost accounting. I'll be honest with you, that wasn't my favorite class. In fact, I hated cost accounting. So after our last final, my buddy and I went to the very top of McKeldin. We peered over the edge and rebelled the way any self-respecting business student rebels. We threw our calculators off the roof and watched with glee as they exploded into smithereens. Now, out of respect for the administrators behind me, I'm not going to encourage you folks to do that here today. Just throwing your caps in the air will be just fine. But class of 2015, I also remember one of the other feelings you're feeling. You're wondering what comes next. Those of you who have lined up a job are wondering, how do I advance? How do I succeed? Those of you who are still searching, still interviewing, still exploring, you're wondering, how do I land that great job? As someone who has hired, managed, advised, and promoted countless people over the years, I think I can give you some answers to some of those questions. The number one thing I look for is someone who is a whole person. What do I mean by that? I mean someone who is courageous enough to take measured risks, someone who is confident enough to know what he or she doesn't know, someone who brings a distinct point of view, and this is important, isn't afraid to use it. But how do you become that whole person? And how do you stand out when so many of your peers have the same GPA, the same impressive resume, the same valuable diploma from Smith or another outstanding institution? Let me start to answer those questions by telling you about one of the cool things that I've experienced as part of EY, the NBA Draft Lottery. Now, maybe some of you saw the lottery Tuesday night. Unfortunately, my Knicks just didn't get it done. If you're not familiar with the lottery, it's how the NBA decides the order in which the pro teams draft the best college players each year. It's like your local lottery. They fill a big machine with ping pong balls, or as you better know them, beer pong balls. The worse a team finishes during the year, the better the chances are of getting the top pick in the coming year. Well, the NBA, which had been a client of mine for years, uses someone from EY to oversee the integrity of the process, just like the Oscars or the Golden Globes. And every lottery night for 12 years, I would be backstage supervising the random drawing. Then the envelopes and I would be escorted by security onto the set, where team executives, players, and fans alike crossed their fingers, knocked on wood, and hoped luck would find their favor. And then, much to the surprise of a lot of people who hadn't seen me since frat road days, there I'd be on TV, alongside the GMs and the owners as they learned their fate. Now, I haven't done that for about 10 years, but it really was a great run. And I have great memories of being there and thinking, boy, I really wish I would have paid more attention in statistics class. Luck is always a big part of any lottery, of course. Remember when the Wizards beat the odds, won the lottery, and got John Wall? They had just a 10% chance of getting that first pick. Well, I think it was 10%. I think those stats are right. But don't forget the last time I saw my calculator, it was in 100 pieces on the lawn in front of the library. But what I learned over the years was that what mattered most is what happened after the lottery. The careful decision these teams made about what to do with the card they were dealt, who to pick, where to play them, how to build a team, and maybe one day a dynasty. That's what matters most. That's how you improve your odds of success, and that is entirely in your control. Graduates, I believe firmly that the best way to improve those odds is to pick carefully the people you surround yourself with. Now, it's natural at a transition time like this, from college to career, for you to fret a little bit about the company you're going to work for. But I'm here to tell you it's actually more important to focus on the company you keep. I think of it as my own personal board of directors. I'm not talking about people who tell you what to do. I'm talking about people who tell you what they think. I'm not talking about people who just get what you do or know how to do it. I'm talking about people who understand why you're doing it, people who get what really matters to you. And I'm not talking about a group of yes men and women. I'm not talking about complimentary words that might flatter you. I'm talking about complementary parts that make a whole. If you're great at finance, find someone who's good in marketing. If you're a strategic thinker, find someone who specializes in the nuts and bolts. And if you're lucky enough to meet someone like my wife, marry up and immediately place them on your board of directors. And by the way, my outstanding 2 kids, who are about your age, do make a cameo appearance on my board of directors from time to time as well. Now, I know I am no longer the best technical accountant in the world. Some, well, actually most, would say that I never was. So I count on people who make me whole. It's not a sign of weakness to recognize your weak spots. It's actually a sign of strength and confidence. That's why even the most powerful CEOs lean on their board of directors, and why so many other leaders surround themselves with advisors as well. The President of the United States has his cabinet. President Lowe has his deans. Coach Turgeon has his assistant coaches. Even Daenerys has her dragons. Maybe you're thinking, okay, but I'm not the president of a country or a college, and I'm only the queen of a fantasy army on Halloween. Yet you don't have to be old enough to be on a corporate board of directors to have a personal board of directors. You might know it, not know it, but you already have some of these folks on board. Your parents, your buddies, the friends you made here. Some of the guys I met at Smith are still the guys I turn to all the time. And here's why that's so important. Because 3 of the most important qualities that make you whole, the qualities I mentioned earlier, taking risks, knowing what you don't know, welcoming a diversity of thought, these are by definition things you cannot do well by yourself. Let's start with taking calculated risks. Your board of directors should be a sounding board for tough decisions. I was an accounting major here at Smith. I was rising through the ranks at EY as an accountant. And then one Friday, a senior partner called me in I felt like I was being called into the principal's office again. He asked me if I would move from New York to Cleveland, to our fancy national office, to work on strategy for our firm and business development. Honestly, it wasn't a role that, it was beyond my area of expertise. I didn't have any relevant experience. It was pretty far outside of my comfort zone, which is exactly why I went. And it changed my career as much as anything I've ever done. Not only did I learn new skills and flex muscles I hadn't exercised before, but for 2 of the 3 years I was there, I sat next to the man who would ultimately be the chairman of our firm for a period of time. It was a risk well worth taking, and one I wouldn't have jumped at without the advice of my personal board of directors. Yes, the ones who encouraged me to take the leap, but also the ones who said I was crazy to even consider it. Today, whenever someone tells me, you really don't want to get involved with that, or this is a tough person to deal with, I welcome the challenge. And I know that there's no better way to succeed than by doing so where everyone before you has failed. But first, you have to take the risk. The second quality I mentioned is the confidence to know what you don't know. Like I said, I'm not the most technical accountant. In a lot of respects, my EQ might actually outweigh my IQ. But just because in some areas you don't have competence doesn't mean that you can't have confidence. I've learned that our business in EY is as much an EQ business as an IQ business. And believe me, if a technical profession like ours is a people business, then everything is. One thing we often forget at a competitive school or in an interview process or during promotion season is that there's actually confidence in vulnerability. And without that vulnerability, without that honesty about our strengths and weaknesses, we can't build the right team or board around us. Over the years, I've found a few personal board members who've also served as mentors to me, people who have taken the time to really help me. Sometimes for them it means explaining something to me step by step, so maybe by the 5th time I actually get it. More than once I've heard them say, "Let me say it so even you can understand, Mark." The last quality that makes someone whole is knowing how to welcome and in fact champion diversity, especially diversity of thought. And that's the third reason your board will help you achieve more than you could by yourself. You've only experienced life through your eyes. You've only walked in your shoes. Make sure your board has people who bring different skills, who come from different backgrounds, have different orientations, who don't look like you. The whole point is to generate thoughtful ideas, and that only happens when you hear different points of view. Let me tell you, nothing bothers me so much as people who sit through a meeting without once sharing an opinion. And nothing is so wasteful as a good idea unexpressed. About a month ago, I was in a client meeting, a major company whose name you would all know. And later I heard that the senior client executive, a very senior client executive, said, "The thing I like most about that meeting is that Manoff had a point of view, even though he might not have understood all of the subject matter." Well, I can tell you, I did not understand all of the subject matter. But just about every company you'll join after you leave here is in the advice business one way or another. If you don't offer an opinion, you have nothing to offer. A final word about your personal board of directors. It's okay if the roster changes. Guys, I fire people on my personal board all the time, and they don't even know it. Circumstances change. Needs change. The environment you're in changes. For example, you might wake up one morning and think, what the heck are we doing in the Big Ten? Things change. When I talk about being a whole person, I don't mean that you have to be the best at everything. What I mean is you have to surround yourself with people who make you better. The better and more diverse the people around you, the better your decisions will be, I promise you that. And never forget that you are a reflection of the people around you, and they are a reflection of you. When I oversaw the NBA draft lottery, my job was done once the order was set. And that's when the GM's job would begin. Their decision was the same as anyone who hires or promotes or puts a project team together. Who gives you the best chance to win? How do you play your players? How do you build that dynasty? Yes, you're looking for the best athlete available, but even the worst GM knows that picking the best player doesn't guarantee a championship. That's why they try to put together people who complement each other, a team that balances weaknesses and strengths. And I try to remember that every day. In fact, if you go to my office in Midtown Manhattan, you'll notice that I have as many books on the shelves about sports as I do about business. And you'll notice 2 other things. First, the most important mementos I have from my professional successes are not medals or certificates or plaques. They're pictures of people on the teams I've built and have been fortunate enough to have been a part of. And second, you'll see a large wooden testudo. I am a Terp through and through. I love the people I met here, people who are still my best friends, golf buddies, advisors, people who give it to me straight. Oh, you'll also notice a calculator. Somewhere along the way, I did replace that shattered version. It turns out it's actually convenient when you're an accountant. Graduates, you can't control everything. But if you surround yourselves with the right people, you'll do what you can to increase your odds of success. It's then, when you change what's probable, that you'll discover what's possible. And in the end, if you surround yourself with the right people, you'll find that success isn't measured by how many advisors you collect. It's in how many people respect you enough to ask for your advice. What you've learned here at Smith, in the classroom and the relationships you've built, has prepared you to graduate one day from someone who seeks mentors to someone who serves as one. Maybe you'll be on someone's corporate board of directors. Maybe you'll be on someone's personal board of directors. Maybe you'll be asked to address a future class of graduates as the commencement speaker at a school you love. And I can tell you firsthand, that will be one of the proudest days of your life. I'm humbled to be surrounded by this great group of Terps today. Thank you for this honor. Congratulations, class of 2015, and best of luck.
Mark, thank you very much for those wonderful words. Speaking of boards, we are so proud that you're the incoming chair of our board, and we appreciate everything that you've done for the school. So as a small token of appreciation, another Terrapin, another Terrapin.
Thank you so much.
That's fabulous. It's now my pleasure to call up Mr. Brian Minahan, who's the chair of the Robert H. Smith School of Business Alumni Chapter Board, who will welcome the soon-to-be graduates to the alumni community. Brian?
Thank you, Dean Triantis. Distinguished members of the Platform Party, faculty, staff, and most importantly, members of the Smith School class of 2015, it is an honor to be with you here to celebrate your commencement. On behalf of the Smith Alumni Chapter of the University of Maryland Alumni Association, let me be among the first to congratulate you. I am also charged with welcoming you to the Smith School alumni community. It is a vibrant community. Our Smith School Alumni Chapter Board is committed to forging strong alumni connections among all of our 60,000 alumni across the globe by hosting events, facilitating lifelong learning and mentoring, and lastly, leveraging technology and social media to facilitate our Smith community. Do me a favor, download Smith's alumni app right now. Also, ladies, I'd like to see that selfie on Instagram before we get out of here today. When you guys get home, please like the alumni Facebook page, join the Smith LinkedIn group, and follow Smith on Twitter. All of these connections are efforts for us to keep working together to ensure the Smith School alumni community continues to grow and thrive. I look forward to seeing and working with all of you in the future. As a mentor of mine used to say, the world belongs to those who show up. I hope you guys choose to show up. I look forward to seeing you at one of our many events and or connecting with you virtually. Again, congratulations on this exciting accomplishment. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a professional photographer will be taking each graduate's picture as they receive their envelope. In order not to obstruct the view of others, family and friends are asked not to enter the floor for photographs. Also, we remind all attendees to please remain seated throughout the entire ceremony in order to fully recognize all of today's graduates. Dr. Victor Mullins, Associate Dean of Undergraduate Programs, will present the class of 2015 graduates. Will the candidates please rise?
Dean Trientis, I'm very pleased to present the graduates of the class of 2015.
Dean Mullins, I am honored to recognize these graduates who successfully completed all requirements for the Bachelor of Science degree.
Will the graduates please be seated? Dr. Jeffrey Kudish, Assistant Dean of Corporate Relations and Managing Director of the Office of Career Services, and Mr. Gary Cohen, Assistant Dean of Executive Programs, will introduce the graduates. We will now recognize graduates who are members of the Platform Party.
Connie Chu, majoring in marketing. Victoria Shi, double degree in marketing and international business, graduating cum laude.
Will all other graduates please remain seated until directed to the platform to receive our congratulations?
The following students are marketing majors. Edward Woodill. Michelle Gallagher. Brianna Drayton. Beverly Dahard Guillaume. Rebecca Besamakemke. Taylor Meadows. William Fleming. Brittany Powell. Daniel Winters, summa cum laude. Antonia Murray. Christopher Lane. Brianna Burnett. Haley Jobert. Christina Sholomb. Katrina Rodas. Molly Rosenbaum. Leora Kushner. Cheryl Rosenberg. Talia Evans, cum laude. Anna Blazkiv. Rebecca Saltzman. Tang Zhang. Christopher King. Amber Clark. Sophia Vega Ormeno. Caitlin Williams. Alexandra Malmstrom. Michelle Carenti. Ellie Dickler. Jessica Davis. Jennifer Heaton. Lisa Benzra. Katie Spiesman. Eliza Roberts. Greg Rosenzweig. Shannon Tarek. Emily Lee. Lauren Fagan. Victoria Hogan Edwards. John Ruppel. Ashley Yeager. Christina Esqua. Anupan Jain. Priya Gupta. Lauren Bailey, Department Honors, summa cum laude. Haley Yagi. Monica Lesser. Stephen Leung. Sean Lee Yuan. Kirsta Dara. Nicole Ederer, summa cum laude. Elizabeth Unger. Catherine Moore. Brandon Oxeter. Cameron Mitchell. Emily Thompson. Tyra Chibber. Lauren Sanker. Jenny Gandhi. Rachel Diamond. Snigdha Rao. Aaron McDonough. Carly Spivak. Joseph Sweeney. Marissa Cole. Caitlin Reynolds. Alexander Steckroth. Brandon Tillman. Kyle Stout. Alexander Schwartz. Christopher Waugh. Anastasia Niktenko. Benjamin Stryker. Justin Sawyer. Kevin Spillman. Nicholas Bondura. Michael McGurk. Debar Allen. Hong Trung. Charlotte Zhang. Yiting Liu. Jillian Postal. Laura Gonson. Clara Huang. Daniel Hoffman. Alex Levy. Patrick Mahoney. Noah Berman. Rodrigo Barros. Holly Klankel. Siyu Chen. Jaiwei Wang. Eric Bennett. Nicole Kors. Samantha Sonkin. Jessica Schertz. Jacqueline Sama. Jeffrey Mark. Nicole Maximum. Kyla Santos. Seth Faber. Ru Zhou. Boting Liu. Joshua Wilbanks. Alisa Hafner. Stephen Ezekiel. Patrick Dooley. Vejim Machowski. Julie Sue. Melody Saharkis. Lee Ferrandi. Stephen Burke. Yasser Ursman Kataktak. Alyssa Marcelli. Cameron Butler. Medina Adelaran. Bangha Dali. Candace Tuway. Yelise Balsi. Danielle Cornley. Konstantin Upirgis. Ashley Heisner. Emily Katz. Danielle Marriott. Ibtisham Alam. Carly Sennert. Robin Rosenzweig. Alexandria Bell. The following students are information systems majors. Angela Yang, magna cum laude. Kim Nigan. Molly Garfinkel. Julie Hong. Ruwei Lee. Victoria Tran. Stanley Lee. Melanie Gallo. Perry Somerville. Iris Spick. Yin Chen Dong. Natasha Brown. Jeffrey Huang. Tyler Epperstein. Nicholas Mugg. Sohili Bustani. Benny Titel. Ariel Rosenberg. Jacob Friedland. Charbel Zela. Alexander Papanikula. Ali Saif. Thomas Shelley. Scott Nicetune. Edwin Mercado. Daniel Pacius. Seema Habash. Katie Ta. Matt Branstein, summa cum laude. Margaret Tien, cum laude. Rebecca Gunak. Timothy Rogers. Simona Merchant-Dest. Zin Lee. Sarah Ventura. Brian Zimmerman. Sapna Verdi. Manoj Kumar. Evan Hammond. Wusuk An, Kevin An, Department Honors. Kara Howes. Galila Bernhain. Anna Ageva. Brian Nowak. Catherine Kerrigan. Danielle Spiegelman. Ebenezer Amare. Jean Shang Ma. Kay David. Lisa Patty, Department Honors, cum laude. Melanie Tran. Andrew Simon. Claire Naylor, cum laude. Ryan Lenish. Alexander Lubomirsky. Theodore Michalak, Departmental Honors. Carolyn Carlson. Shasha Lincoln. Jamie Kostner. Samantha Diamond. John Sartori. Amy Lee. David Kravitz. John Bedingbanga. Stephen Bushi. Sanjeet Mahat. Daryl Badley. The following students are operations management majors. Nicole Blehut. Alan Branson. Obed Fabrizio Molina. Gabriela Perdomo. Yue Sun. Molly Pincus. Vinaya Chen. The following students are finance majors. Joshua Schwartz. Julianne Fleck. Felipe Ross, cum laude. Michael Hess. Daniel Crump. Dimitri Shigaris. Chandler Perry. Amanda Castle. Victoria Patton. Nicole Hayam. Danielle Weinberger. Andrew Clank. Azra Hussein. Stephanie Pappas. Rahuli Emond. Michael Adams Jr., cum laude. Kimberly Godfrey. Olumide Arwin Wande. Kem Golding. Atam Oshima. James Taylor. Akur Shukans. Monica Alane. Chloe Miller, cum laude. James Shen. Michelle Thomas. Ruthie Vinod. Kunal Goyal. Michael Kong. Kelly Lawrence. Colleen Phillips, cum laude. Caitlin Cawley. Willa Sheeny Durhan. Lillian Huang, Niklish Huda, Sahat Madhurgiri, Connie Lee, summa cum laude. Michael Lee, Department Honors, cum laude. Neil Shah, Ian Post, Brian Trainer, Dennis Tran, Department Honors. Rafael Casellas, Antonio Luli Nilhos, Jordan Washer, Kyle Diamore, Jerome Davis, Adam Schnitzer, Tu Chain Sang, Gian Marcano, Samuel Bronstein, John Berg, Ian Schulner, Tyler Kerensky, Jason Strauss, Adam Babbitt, Seth Gruhan, Jonathan Krasner, John Erda, Evan Levnant, Argan Ayop, Benjamin Lehrman, Gregory Kessel, Ross Arroyo, Robert Parisi, Alexander Blas, Rodney Snipes, Justin Deckelbaum, Jeremy Levert, Alicia Friedman, cum laude, Ariel Rogoff, Stephanie Toth, Danielle Weber, Sean Mahan, Maxwell Mraz, Benjamin Ritnor, Nicholas Madormo, Colton Lavin, John Murphy, Patrick Grover, Dylan Glenn, Thomas Carolyn, David Friedman, Kyle Scheckler, Jessica Lorenzano, Laura Steer, summa cum laude, Abigail Lundahl, Claire McCord, Jacqueline Montugado, Kim de la Montagne, Allison Fleischner, Lisa Grover, Michael Mangiampone, Christopher Aiken, Michael Cohen, Michael Freed, Jennifer Bamrick, Jeremy Peterson, Nicole Anastopoulos, Peter Lekakis, Kevin Alexander Romero, Jose Guillermo Martinez, Isora Cristina Aporto, Pooja Parmar, Jamie Dahl, cum laude, Sagar Doshi, magna cum laude, Dylan Sheldon, magna cum laude, Abigail Wells, Stephen Dulong, Cheng Yi Song, Teresa Russell, summa cum laude, Brett Kohler, Clark Wright, cum laude, Kyle Daly, Ryan Kromsky, Nazarnin Sharparast, cum laude, Scott Kaufman, Lawrence Klein, Brian Hawthorne Cordado, magna cum laude, Mohib Ibqual, Jeremy Gittleman, Jack Gibson, Ningwei Li, Michael Zhang, Tuang Lu, Lashimi Mailacharvu. Kevin McDowell. Pratik Patel. Stephanie Thompson. Thomas Musso. John Halleck. James Wynn. Sumrit Sharma. Benjamin Oppenheim. Paul Wiedefeld. Caitlin Teague. Ying Jin. Inan Wang. Yishu Wang. Mary Nagin. Nicholas Arbin. Tyler Phelps. Nathan Finnegan. Christopher Cupp. Zachary Borgman. Patrick Martin. Brett Turlington. Brian Cohn. An Lee, Department Honors, cum laude. Laura Hermina, cum laude. John Picard. Pavin Randachar. Christopher Yoder. Khalil Pettis, cum laude. Cameron Ross. Adam Witten. Daniel Spinelli. Jacob Susskind. Jonah Weasel. Christina Menendez. Matthew Schachter. Nicholas Fusco. Neville Brody. Matthew Wolf. Andrew Block. Brian Zeller. Alexander Brickman. Eric Byer. Michael Jones, cum laude. Brenna Zhang. Dylan Bassich. Zachary Nassau. Long Song. Runfang Shi. Adrian Cobb. Dante Smith. Hassab Han. Win Thu. Jason Langer. Zachary Dancel.
Following students are accounting majors. Sean Way. Katie Bonilla, Department Honors. Kelly Huang. Julie Tsai. Lucas McLaughlin. Pearl Zhang. John Walsh. Quentin Ang. Jason Akinzai. Victoria Din. Michelle Hess. Stephanie Jameo. John Nicholson. Lisa Poole, cum laude. Cedric Donfack. David Cantor. Rafael Cabello Rodriguez. Christopher Little. Donald Michael. Fanyat Kang. Ruth Chambergo Juca. Diana Garcia. Iman Asimani. Samuel Vallejos. Jenny Shu. Roel Petri. Ayman Farzan. Mai Tran. Mai Rabil. Vai Tran. Wei Rong Drew. Xiaomeng Zhang. Raymond Koo. Yanni Fu Ravas. Allison O'Donnell. Leora Prince, cum laude. Jeffrey Shu. Alex Elkin, magna cum laude. Joshua Hurl. Jordan Ferguson, cum laude. Daniel Kelly. Michael Jones. Michael Arabian. Wahab Syed. Benjamin Merkel. Naisha Brooks Arrington. Kara Hogue. Farhad Juma. Anthony Padilla. Robert Pepitone. Hosanna Tran. John Gillick, Department Honors. Max Kravit, cum laude. Nathan Farrar, magna cum laude. Gregory Radin. Jeffrey Rothenberg, summa cum laude. Adam Rothman, magna cum laude. Matthew Shea. Brian Barrows. Alec Friedlander. Matthew Coble. Michael Laraca. Tyler Ficklin, magna cum laude. Audrey Richardson. Winnie Tinekam. Adisaram Yifru. Shiki Shen. Mo Zhu. Wei Chao Li. Jacob Reinhardt. Kathy Lee. Vanessa Giovanni, Department Honors. Christy Intosha. Hannah Golansky. Samuel Shapiro. Joseph Peskin. Allison Lefkowitz. Lauren Wilkowski. Amanda Nessel, magna cum laude. Matthew Shiflett. Catherine Dunkley. Lauren Jones. Alexandra Hart. Victoria McKay. Shiyu Shen. Ximang Zhou. Alyssa Halper. Gabrielle Bruzeau, magna cum laude. Stacy Donadio, summa cum laude. Alexander Patron. Alyssa Jacobson. David Kaplan, summa cum laude. Andrew Reeves. Michael Supanik, cum laude. Jennifer Mead, cum laude. Rachel Andre. Elizabeth Eisenrau. Edward White. Michael Helderman. Ian Efron. Patrick Jung, cum laude. Andrew Snyder. Sean Trotter. Larson Harper. David Abercrombie. Michael O'Neill. Ryan D'Alessandro. Kevin Tessero. Daniel Fitzmaurice. Megan Foy. James Scribner. Michael Guzman. Ike Pappas. Teferi Mikonini. Juliana Costadi Mieles. Frederica Antwi. Jamie Singh. Ina Pugakveva. Neha Thanki. Rolima Benjunkar. Luis Portillo. Jake Giampietro. Celestin Kane. Michelle Watley. Zachary Barron. Kyle Renwick. Rufei Yang. Drew Vickers. Matthew Hallowell, cum laude. Rebecca Singh Shinsuk, magna cum laude. Ryan Solomon. Charles Humpton, summa cum laude. James Lowe, summa cum laude. Daniel Stern. Renata Satova. Lisheng Zhao. Justin Yi. Fathin Ahmad. Sharon Rosario. Sean Scott. Arame Temori. Heron Rina Ratianavero. Herizo Rako Tomana. Ling Ling Wang. Linda Mellon. Grace Frias. Emily Dager. Pallavi Jami. Megan McNew. Ariel Palance. Evan Sunshine. Catherine Bright. John Schmansky. Kelly Brown. Elizabeth Stridle. Matthew Greenberg. Kate Rainforth. Meredith Russell. Miles Pulitzer. Daniel Levy, magna cum laude. Eric Bass. Ji Lee. Sean Huang. Wasif Malik. Clara Akramova. Christine Kim. Harrison Bridge, cum laude. Catherine Liebler, magna cum laude. Emily Alexandre, magna cum laude. Haley Thometz, cum laude. Heather Arning. Brian Maddock. Daniel McKiernan. Alexis Ang. Stephanie Rodriguez. Michael Kapkin. Adam Warner. Jenna Mantell. Brendan Knies. Michael Barnett. Babatun Giondumpi. Tanisha Bethea. Atsuko Guys. Zhualu Zhao. Eileen Wang. Sarah Seigler. Vladimir Alphonse. Hi. Tavon Carroll. Peter Calhoun. Sheikh Keita. Tin Wat. Bayungang Kang. Yutong Chen. Tony Tang. Maria Arias. The following students are supply chain management majors. Trayvon Sawyer. Lindsay Wildminster, magna cum laude. David Engel. Congrats. Alex Dokwang. Ismail Faridi. Daniel Spencer, magna cum laude. Hey, buddy. Congratulations. Alexander Mann. Olivia Serrett, Department Honors, magna cum laude. Hey, Hannah Sonnenberg, Department Honors. Corey Dubin. Matthew Schmidt. Robert Duke. Francis Bello. Kenneth Fitzgerald. Stephen Forgash. Aaron Bentz. Seokwan Yun. Hyun Yang Cho. William Frick. Danielle Sachs. Robert Palucci. Connor Stapleton. Genevieve Horschler, Department Honors. Emily Cobb. Sophia Young. Mayanka Babu. Shadi Mustafa, summa cum laude. Trevor Furness. Jessica McClure. Fabian Castro Acuna. Kyle Murdoch. John Aguirre. Rachel Gala. Ankit Sood. Rachel Karpa. Alexis Fries. Jessica Janov. Matthew Rosenberry. Grant Germano, cum laude. Alex Foner. Kara Dowdy. Sammy Nyazi. Jasmine Frazier. Funot Aklilu. Carly Morales. Jillian Musanda. Osodi Imoisi. Hannah Breakstone. Erica Williams. Jana Alston. Congratulations. Danielle Otranto. Michelle Rao. Haley Smith. Jeffrey Grimes. Garrett Young. Mark Lynn. Allison Collins. Molly Schick, Department Honors Cum Laude. Deborah Goldschlag. Varun Tilva. Dennis Che. Daniel Morin. The following students are international business majors. Blake Coxum. Brad Halperin. Benjamin Heller. Taylor Tomasco. Jamie Reyes Rivera. Graham Ogleby. Matthew Flory. Monica Flores. Sergio Castro. Fabio Fajardo. Thomas Rivas Siles. Hyung Jung Lee. Hyun Kim. Fanta Kaba. Stephanie Portal. Christina Angel. Ailen Kilegian. Kala Wali. Crystal Jimenez. Jeffrey Ho. Brian Timish. Melissa Picone. Elaine Oves. Jared Stein. The following students are management majors, which include students in the entrepreneurship track. James Hevelo. Roxana Aru Cisneros. Alana Batz. Taylor Throw, cum laude. Kendall Dusenberry. Joseph Lee. This way. Chris Ryan. Adam Feld. Ryan Wilkinson. Ramen Zili. Temulin Lagafasorin. Did my best. Rachel Gottschalk. Evan Albert. Jonathan Jimenez. Cephas Sharp. Mohammed Lincoln. Johannes Semai. Min Kim. Brittany Smith. Christina Moscatelli. Lindsay Zaransky. Michael Caden. Nicholas Riddlesberger. Catherine Davis. Allison Gruber. Keith Oliver. Michael Shue. Matthew Kennard, summa cum laude. Justin Shapiro, cum laude. This way. Alex Fine. Robert Geddes. Benjamin Eidelberg. Danielle Adam. Britton Smith. Aaron Shirian. Estefania Cordova. Gabrielle Happy. Karine Ayadejo. Madeline Dolan. Reitza Pareja, cum laude. Josephine Kim. Jonathan Lancaster. Zachary Maker. Momar Diop. Omar Khan.
Well, once again, let us all congratulate today's graduates. Graduates of the Robert H. Smith School of Business, it has been a real pleasure to share this special day with you. My congratulations to each of you on the accomplishments that have led to this day. We also honor the people who supported you, who believed in you, and who in many cases paid for you, the parents of the class of 2015. It is with great hope and optimism that we at the Smith School send you out into the world. I am certain that you will lead diverse and accomplished lives. I know you are happy to have your classes behind you, but this may be the end of college, but it is not the end of learning. As you continue to learn, I hope you will share your knowledge, your insights, and your experience with us. And I hope that your life will lead you back to this learning community, to mentor students, to serve on a committee, to speak to a club, or to continue your education. Remember, we have master's degrees here. Graduation is a significant achievement made possible by your own hard work, but also by the support of your friends and family members. As you graduate, I also offer you the Smith School's encouragement and support. Take advantage of our alumni network opportunities as you pursue your careers. Stay in touch with us, and we will stay in touch with you. The Alumni Relations Office is even now checking your addresses and the spelling of your last names. We hope you have a long and mutually beneficial relationship with the Smith School. Every member of the Smith community is very proud of your achievements. We wish you well on the journey ahead, and I look forward to hearing many good reports of your successes in the years to come. Congratulations. I wish you all the best.
Will graduates and guests please remain seated until after the faculty has recessed. After the faculty has recessed, graduates are asked to please exit the arena by any of the stairways from the floor so that the arena can be prepared for the ceremony immediately following this one. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.